Peace and love, creatives. Today we're going to look at the CaranDAche water-soluble crayons, the Lyra water-soluble crayons, and the Mungyo water-soluble crayons. And we're going to see if there's any similarities, any differences between the crayons from different companies. So off the back, you can tell the difference between the crayons. The Lyras are they're short and fat. The CaranDAche and the Mungyos are very long and skinny. The first thing I'm going to look at with the three brands is how easily they break down when you put water on them. And if there's any remnants of the crayon underneath, if you can see the scratch marks of your strokes from the crayon. We're also going to see how pigmented each color is as opposed to to the other brand. Now I was able to get the same color blue, which was a Prussian blue, for each color for each brand, but the reds I was not able to get, so I tried to get the most similar in color that I could. Just wanted to let that be known. So when I did the diluting of the crayons, they kind of behaved very much the same, but I will say that the Lyra and the CaranDAche crayons were definitely a lot more pigmented than the Mungyo. So the first piece that I'm doing is going to be with some CaranDAche water-soluble crayons. I'm going to color it like I would applying the actual crayon itself onto the paper and then watering it down. And then I'm going to just also do different techniques taking the paintbrush, putting it to the crayon, and then lifting some pigment like that and putting it onto the paper. And these crayons, they behave as I thought they would. Now I'm using rougher textured paper, so we're not going to not see the lines of the we're not going to not see the lines. We're going to see lines from the application of the crayon, but that's okay. Now, what I noticed with all three crayons is the CaranDAche and the Lyra are very creamy going down. They're a lot smoother, and the Mungyo is very scratchy compared to the two. I realized that. I was trying to do line work on the piece, but it was still wet, so I put it to the side to dry, and I moved on to the next piece. Now, the next piece I'm doing with the Lyra water-soluble crayons, and this one is a little bit simpler. It's going to be a quicker art piece. I wanted to make it a little bit faster. We're seeing each other every day, and I don't know. I'm trying to be a little bit more, it might just be me. But anyway, I decided to move to a water brush with the water-soluble crayons. I just feel like they are a harder bristle, and it's easier to move the pigment around with the bristle on a water brush than it was with my initial paintbrush that I was using. So that was the Lyra. And then this one is the Mungyo water-soluble crayons. Now, these go down nice. They go down exactly like the CaranDAche and the Lyra. The only thing is, like I said before, they just feel a little bit scratchier, a little bit firmer, which I end up first off, I end up messing up my painting because of it, or my coloring, whatever. But it doesn't matter because they were just practice pieces anyway to try out the, to see the differences between the supplies. But I end up there's a white film. There's a white film around each crayon on the Mungyo, and I think it's a protective film so that, if moisture gets in or whatever, it doesn't ruin the crayon, which is cool if that's the case. But I end up scraping it off. In a minute I'm gonna end up doing it. I'll show you. And then I do it over my paper, of course, because why would I move my paper to the side and catch it into something else? But once I take that little white film off of the crayon, the amount of pigment that I can pick up is night and day for these crayons. So I think that if you do invest in these crayons, it might be wise to maybe hit it with a little sharpener, or like I did, just give it a little scrape around the white of the crayon while you're using that area, and then color with it afterwards. There is a difference, and you can see it right away. So once I did that, I kind of was like, is this a game changer? Does this make the crayons exactly similar to, exactly like, or close enough, or even closer to the CaranDAche and the Lyra? And I say yes. I think that either one of these are a good choice depending on your budget, and you won't be disappointed with either of them, to be honest with you. So there's that. That's my 2 cents about these crayons, and I recommend all 3 of them, to be honest with you. So if your budget is for the Mungyo, get the Mungyo. If they're for the Lyra, get the Lyra. If they're for the CaranDAche because you want to be a little bit splurgy, do it. This is going to be the giveaway prize for Day 7. You're going to be receiving a visual journal by Strathmore, Create a Color, watercolor graphite pencils, a couple of Faber-Castell's watercolor pencils, a paintbrush, and a sharpener to sharpen your pencils because they are big boys and sometimes they don't fit in regular sharpeners. This is going to be the giveaway prize for Day 7, and I will see you in the next one. Peace and love.